Money. It's something we all deal with every single day, yet it's also one of the most emotionally charged topics in life. And here's a strange paradox. When it comes to money, women are often underestimated, overlooked, and even misjudged. For years, society has painted a picture that women are somehow not as good with money as men. But what if I told you the exact opposite might be true? What if women actually hold natural financial advantages? And it's the psychology, not the ability, that changes everything. Let's break this down. Women live longer than men on average by about 5 years. They also tend to earn less, partly due to the gender pay gap, but also because many step away from full-time work during critical years to care for children or family. So from a purely mathematical point of view, women need to be better with money. They need to stretch their savings further, make investments last longer, and think about security more seriously. But here's the catch. Even though they have every reason to take control, many women feel less confident about money than men. This brings us to the psychology. For many men, money is tied to status, achievement, and competition. It's about how much you can earn, how big your house is, or what car you drive. But for many women, money is tied to security, independence, and relationships. It's not about showing off wealth. It's about feeling safe and being able to take care of the people they love. This difference changes how women save, spend, and invest. Take investing, for example. There's this stereotype that men are the bold risk takers while women are timid and cautious. But studies actually show something fascinating. A large Fidelity study looked at more than 8 million investment accounts. The result? Women's portfolios outperformed men's by nearly 0.4% annually. That might sound small, but over decades, it can mean thousands or even millions of dollars more in wealth. Why? Because women traded less often, avoided impulsive decisions, and stuck with their strategies. In other words, they avoided the overconfidence trap. But here's the paradox. Even though women often outperform men, surveys show they believe they are worse with money. Many rate themselves as less knowledgeable, less confident, and more hesitant in financial decision-making. Imagine being a better driver than most people on the road, but constantly asking yourself if you're even safe to drive. That's what happens with money. And this gap between ability and confidence is one of the biggest psychological challenges women face. Now, let's talk about spending. Research in consumer psychology shows that women are more likely to shop based on value and long-term utility. They compare prices, they evaluate quality, and they think about how purchases will affect family needs. Men, by contrast, are more likely to buy based on status or convenience. But here's the interesting part. Women are also more likely to feel guilt when they spend money on themselves. If a man buys an expensive gadget or watch, he might see it as a reward. If a woman buys something for herself, she may feel selfish, unless it's for the family. That guilt, driven by deep cultural conditioning, affects financial freedom in subtle ways. And speaking of culture, let's not forget history. For centuries, women were legally excluded from financial systems. In some countries, women couldn't even open a bank account or get a credit card without a husband's signature until the 1970s. Think about that. It's only been a few decades since women were officially given financial independence. That history leaves behind invisible scars. The idea that money is a man's responsibility, and women are just supposed to manage household budgets. Even today, you'll hear phrases like, "My husband takes care of the investments," as if it's not a woman's space. But when you step back, you realize this isn't about ability. It's about years of conditioning. And here's where psychology shows us something powerful. Women may not think like men when it comes to money, but that's not a weakness, it's a strength. Patience, long-term thinking, a focus on security and relationships. These are not flaws, they are financial superpowers. In fact, if more investors behaved like women, financial markets would probably be a lot more stable, less reckless trading, fewer bubbles, and more long-term wealth building. So what does this mean for the future? It means we need to flip the narrative. Instead of telling women they're not good with money, we need to highlight their natural strengths. Instead of making finance a world of jargon, status, and competition, we need to recognize money as a tool for security, independence, and freedom. Let me leave you with a question. What could happen if more women fully trusted themselves with money? Imagine a generation of women investing without fear, negotiating salaries without hesitation, and building wealth without guilt. It wouldn't just transform their personal lives, it would transform families, communities, and even economies.